So today will be a box opening and review of this item here. This is the AKG C4500 B-BC, which is a broadcast mic by AKG, and it has been discontinued for at least I think 6 to 8 years or even 10 years, because this is the original BBC model, not the BC model, which was introduced in 2012 but was also discontinued. So let's have a box opening and take a look here. I'm Richard and welcome to ZP Productions. So my retailer happened to have one of this set and he was selling it to me at about 300 Sing dollars. By the way, the retailer is Anything Audio. I think they still have a few sets here. And 300 Sing dollars is about, I guess, 220 USD, which is really cheap. It is only 2 times the price of this. By the way, the original price of this mic is approximately, I believe, anywhere from 600 to 800 USD originally. That puts it in the same realm as a Neumann TLM 102. So I was really excited to get this at a low price, and based on reviews and what I read online, there is a lot of mixed reviews on this. On general, it sounds like it's going to be better than a Podmic, but how much better, I do not know. And this is a broadcast mic. So let's take a look in this box opening and review of the mic itself. Oh. So the thing is that this packaging comes in a really nice case. So as I said, the TLM was a terrible example, while this was a really good example. Anyway, the original price of this mic is somewhere around the same as a TLM 102 in when it was brand new, about 600 to 800 USD. And today, if you go to eBay, you probably can get one still at about 400 plus USD, which is still a really good price. Okay, I took out the thing. Let's remove this paper here, which is not much use. So I have removed the plastic and the paper left a stain on the box at the side here. So obviously it was glued onto the side, which was a little irritating. I thought they could just slide it on rather than gluing it on, since anyway it's going to be in the plastic just now. So this is, as you can see, this is the C4500 B-BC, a discontinued product, a really old product if you ask me. So let's take a look at the box opening itself. I open from this side so that you can take a look while I look into the monitor in front of me. As you can see, this is the mic. So there is the mic itself. This mic is really old. I believe the mic itself is here. Okay, and then this is the shock mount, the AKG shock mount, and this is the foam windscreen. There's also, I think, some documents here such as warranty card and stuff, but I think this thing, according to my distributor, has no more warranty because it is really old, and AKG even give you a sticker if you want to stick on. And I guess this is kept really long. Things inside smell new, yet really old vintage smell. Now, the mic itself, if you look really closely, I think you can't see now. Later, I'll take a close-up shot of this. There is some bubbles on the front of the mic. I thought this is going to be pure metal, or is this just a really bad casting? I'm not really sure. But the mic feels generally really solid. It has the AKG logo in front, and then there's the various, engraving and stuff. So let's take a look at this mic itself. So I have hooked up the C4500 B-BC, and now you can hear the sound from it itself. I'm running it through a pop filter for now. Later we will do the full test without one. Now, this B-BC mic is quite old. This C4500 is, I think, at least, since its launch is like 2001, and it's been discontinued for at least 10 years because this is the older model. This is not the black newer model itself. And everything, I would say, as the box was a little sticky. Other than that, everything seems to be fine. The plastic, the red plastic, there is the AKG red ring, is also not really clean anymore. It's a little bit worn out, I guess. In terms of machining, I would say as this machining is not the best machining I see. There is some bumps on the mic itself, but I'm guessing it's because it's old machining techniques or something. It's not the smoothest looking mic you can ever get in the market. But other than that, when I first hooked up, the biggest problem I faced was it has fluttering sound. And this fluttering sound is probably due to my aircon. Normally it's soft enough and most of the mics doesn't pick up the fluttering sound, but this mic does, so it is a very sensitive mic. And the fluttering is probably because, let me turn the mic and you can see it has grills at the side. So this is an end address mic. As you can see, I have been using it as an end address, not a side address. And there is grills at the side, so I'm assuming these grills are actually causing the wind to go through and then pushing the diaphragm a little bit and causing all kind of fluttering sound. I'm not too sure, but overall this mic can't be used with an aircon blowing perpendicular to it, and that's probably the case. Now, this mic is quite sensitive, but I'll say it's not as sensitive as the TLM. I remember the TLM was, I guess, 20 over decibels lower than this in terms of the gain setting. While this one was around 18 gain lower. So if you see the number, I believe this is now at 38 gain and this is currently at 55 gain. Just note, this is a condenser mic, so it requires phantom power, 48 volts of phantom power itself. You can run with 24 and 12 volts according to specifications, but you have lower volume. The mic itself is a cardioid mic. It only accepts sound from the front, and there are two switches. So the first switch allows you to attenuate this home mic by 20 decibel. The second switch allows you to attenuate the bass, the 120 Hz and lower region. So if you actually look at this frequency graph, it actually shows you what happens when you attenuate it. So there is one standard one which is quite flat with a dip at 1000 and a rise at 2000 above, and that's for the presence boost. And then there's the other one, the dotted line one, which shows what happened when you attenuate it by 6 dB for 120 Hz and below. You roll off the bass, something like a high pass filter if you ask me. But it's only 6 dB. So we are going to use it as per, its original no settings edition, which is no padding, nothing. And we'll see how it sounds through the test. Now for the test setup itself, both of these mics are hooked on to my Mix-Pre 3. And the test procedures are the same. So you will have all the various tests. As you can see, I put it up already on the screen now. You can see what I'm going to do with it, and then let's run it through the test and see how it sounds through the various tests. During the test, I'll remove the pop filter to have a better understanding of the mic. The test will start now, and with all tests, the AKG will be tested first, followed by the Podmic. So the first one will be the Plosive test. This is the Plosive test. Peter Piper pick a pack of pickled peppers. This is the Plosive test. Peter Piper pick a pack of pickled peppers. This is the proximity test. This is the volume at 3 inches. This is at 1 feet. This is at 2 feet. This is the proximity test. This is at 3 inches. This is at 1 feet. This is at 2 feet. Now we will do the room ambient test. Now we will do the room ambient test. Now we will do the tapping on the table test. Now we will do the tapping on the keyboard test. Peter Piper pick a pack of pickled peppers. Now we will do the tapping on the table test. Now we will do the tapping on the keyboard test. Peter Piper pick a pack of pickled peppers. This is from the front. This is from the side. This is from the back. This is from the front. This is from the side. This is from the back. This is now the soft and loud test. This is a really soft volume. This is my normal speaking voice. This is a really loud volume. This is now the soft and loud test. This is a really soft volume. This is my normal speaking voice. This is a really loud volume. Okay, now the test is done. Let me take a listen and I'll be back. I'm back, and if you notice something, there is now a lot of foam on my table. And the reason was really simple. If you have heard my test just now, you notice that the C4500 do not reject any sound from the side. And in fact, it's almost picking up full volume from the side. It's probably like only 4 or 5 decibel difference, which is really crazy if you ask me. Literally, this mic does not reject any form of side sound, which may be a problem if you're not doing it in a sound treated room. Now, my room is relatively treated, but there are still some hard surfaces such as the table, and I hope that putting the foam underneath it will make the last section sound better. Now, the sound itself, regarding the C4500, I feel that the C4500 do sound a little better than the Rode Podmic. I can't really put my finger on where is it better. It feels a bit more complete, a bit more right. Then the Podmic. The Podmic felt a little bit still, as I say, metallic and a little bit, I guess, incomplete for some reason versus the C4500 B-BC. Now, one of the biggest surprise with the C4500 B-BC is how resistant it is to plosives. Literally, if you have heard the recording, you notice that there is no plosives at all. And they are at the same volume level. And I noticed that if you ask me, the C4500 is probably more resistant to plosive. And I'm pretty sure that if this was the TLM 102 like the last test, it would have extremely popped everywhere. So the 4500 is definitely a very pop resistance mic. However, you just need to note that it accepts a lot of sound from the side, and that is something to really consider on how you want to place your C4500 B-BC. So the last question is it worth it to get the C4500 at a discount price versus the Podmic? Let me hear the last section first before I get back to you the answer itself. So now I'm back again and I have some conclusions for this sound quality itself. Firstly, the C4500 B-BC has a more, I would say, a smoother sound, a more, I would say, as woolly sound, but also a warmer sound that actually works out pretty well for my voice. Now, the Podmic itself felt a little thin, felt a little bit, I would say, as insubstantial for some reason, and it is really scratchy. So similar to the Neumann TLM 102, there is a difference, and the Podmic actually sounds a little bit more metallic, a little bit more scratchy, but it does have a little bit more sparkle, a little bit more clarity. This clarity itself, I would say, as probably you can EQ it out of the C4500, or you can try to put a pad in the bass itself and get the difference out. But overall, I think that for my voice, the C4500 do sound better than the Podmic. And I'm really torn between whether to keep it or not, or continue to use my Podmic, because the C4500 does have some weakness. And I say it's quite suspectable to sound from the side, and it pretty much doesn't reject any sound from 180 degrees arc in front of it other than its back. That is not a big problem if you treat your room and make sure that every time you use this mic, there is no table in front of you. But more often than not, I'm reviewing products and there is a table in front of me. Now, for the purpose of singing, I'll say as if the vocalists have a very sharp and shrilly and I'll say as a very, I guess, rough voice or very raw voice like mine, probably is fine. And you can actually use this C4500 to smooth it out and make it sound, I guess, a little bit more complete, and also add a bit of warmness and fullness into the voice itself. While the Podmic definitely is not for singing, it is a bit, I would say, metallic and scratchy. And if you want to sing, I would say get a TLM 102 to do it. Now, the final conclusion of this mic, the really final conclusion of this mic, do I think the C4500 is worth it? It really depends. Now, if you have a voice like mine, I think the C4500 will work out for you. Firstly, it does smooth out my voice, and overall, I thought that it sounds more pleasing than the Podmic itself, at least to my ears and to my audio setup. And not only that, it is very resistant to, I would say, as plosives, and therefore, you probably can speak right up close to the mic. So maybe that's how the mic is supposed to be used, where you speak really close to the mic itself, so that even if there is surrounding sound itself, you probably can't capture it in the mic. And that is something that I will explore in the future. For today, this is an initial test and initial review of the C4500 B-BC mic versus the Podmic, so that you could have an understanding, because this mic is really rare in the market, and I think this review will help you if you are looking for a discontinued mic in the market. And I hope you enjoy this, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.